show you, what I said I would show you of those students. So let's see. All right. Let me know. Do you want to see those essays from the Curtis and from Juliana, or do you have questions right away? Give me a 1 if you want to see essays right away, and give me a 2 if you have just questions. You're like, just show me. Okay. All right. So, this packet is available for purchase, but does come with the essay boot camp, the live piece. I actually will mail it to you if you're cold. But I'll give you the link if you wanted to just buy this. But again, our what we're running right now is really good. So let me just. Oh, actually, Juliana's is one of the first ones. Okay, here is Juliana's, well, as we call her, Jules. The words fell out of my mouth. I don't know how to ride a bike. As soon as I blurted it out, I immediately regretted it. A recurrent brain tumor and 5 surgeries left my father with the inability to complete common skills that others take for granted. So, as a child, I learned to play catch with myself and climb on the monkey bars without a spot. Speaking of the playground, we'd walk to get there, as I was never driven by my father. By 4 years old, I could guide my family on a walking tour to the pizza parlor, public library, and playground. We never drove anywhere. We certainly never rode bikes. I won't read the whole thing, don't worry, but I'm going to read you a couple pieces. Growing up, I thought that was normal. I never realized that all dads don't slur their words or need to hold your hand on the stairs. Climbing the 3 steps in our house was one of our most thrilling adventures. My tiny hand grabbed onto his right as we made our way to the base of the stairs. Mirroring his actions, I pushed the wall to the right to stabilize myself and, more importantly, my dad. With my forearm pushing up against his, he took his first shaky step, making sure both feet were on the first step. We repeated that action twice more until successfully standing 2 feet higher than we were before. It goes on. I usually get pretty choked up, but here it says towards the end, today I am the driver. My hands grip the steering wheel while he clings onto the door handle. It is now my responsibility to get my father safely where he needs to go. I never thought we'd leave our days of walking behind us, but the adventures we share on the road are the same as on the sidewalk. Just as he's helped me get to the pizza parlor, public library, and playground, I help him get to his train, bodega, and coffee shop. Okay, enough of that one. So this became her personal statement, and as you can imagine, it was very hard for her to even think about writing this. So I don't think she started this draft until maybe day 3. And she started getting words on the page and more words on the page and more words on the page. So it was tough, but she learned how to write in the first few days and then took it and ran with it. Let me find. Okay. Here's here's her supplemental essay. Remember, she wanted to major in like nutritional biology, something nutrition related. So here's her second one, and then I'll show you 2 from Curtis. The applesauce slid out of the measuring cup and plopped into my beautiful batter of chocolate cupcakes. My heart broke a little as I folded that lumpy applesauce into the mixture of chocolatey gooiness. I never expected to change anything about my classic chocolate cupcakes. They were always perfect, so I was resentful to change. I loved my new babysitter, Annie, because we shared an excitement for the kitchen. But then I heard the words that would change my perspective for baking forever. I'm allergic to eggs. How could someone love to bake when they couldn't even enjoy a classic recipe? 25 minutes later, I pulled my classic cupcakes out of the oven, surprised to see that they had looked better than they had ever looked before. I'm definitely a science girl. The satisfaction of precise answer is my favorite thrill. There's no way to avoid it. You're right, you're not. Every equation, formula, or problem is a puzzle, distinct pieces in the outcome. Baking is my favorite puzzle. Unlike cooking, baking is an exact science. Each ingredient goes into a creation, is only added after careful thought and measurement, because in the end, really it's a chemical reaction, more specifically an endothermic chemical change. As the oven heats, it absorbs baking powder's carbon dioxide bubbles and releases, leaving you with the fluffy cake you know and love. You could even try baking soda and vinegar and find the same results. Carbon dioxide bubbles are given off, creating that familiar fluffy goodness. I'm going to pause here for a second. So the essay is not about baking. Okay, let me say that again. The essay is not about baking. The essay is about her love and understanding of science and her methodical, practical mind, problem-solving mind, which connects to what she's trying to measure in. So one of the biggest mistakes, or many mistakes that students make when writing essays, is they just write about what we call your what. What she loves is baking. Why she loves it is because it's a particular specific science. There's a practicality to it. It has a right and a wrong way, a right and a wrong recipe. And she knows all of the chemistry that goes with baking. So that's what she's trying to convey to the reader, or that's what we teach them in class, and we teach them in these lessons. That's what you're trying to convey. It's not about baking. Baking are just the clothes that essay is wearing to deliver that same. All the science majors out there, STEM majors out there, need to convey a sense of, I love numbers, I love problem solving, I am resourceful, I can't figure puzzles out. They all need to convey that message. But what makes an essay unique and different is by writing an essay that only you could write. What are the clothes? The baking is just the vehicle to deliver that same message. Got it? I'm dropping bombs here. You're here, so I'm giving them to you. All right, let's look at Curtis. Okay. Again, I won't read the whole thing to you. Backpack, check. Notebook, check. Button with Chinese characters saying, talk to me in Chinese, check. My flat top fades and light chocolate skin are a dead giveaway that I'm a foreigner. On Nanjing University's outdoor track, I can't tell if I'm sweating from anxiety or 90-degree weather. It was day one of practicing conversational Chinese, and our task was to find a native to converse with. However, whenever I walked up to someone, an invisible bungee cord would pull me back. My cohort leader had to lead me to a lady sitting on the bleachers. I was only using basic phrases, yet I could barely bring myself to talk. That was embarrassing, I thought, as I returned to the university building. A few days later, he goes on, searched for a place to eat lunch, and he's, taking us through how he's, navigating his way through China. Okay. As the mouth continued, I became comfortable with my conversational skills. If I wanted a before-school snack, I had to buy it in Chinese. Restroom, I had to ask in Chinese. Soon I was conversing with my host family in half Chinese. I began to talk to the cashier as I bought my daily breakfast in almost fluent Chinese. So he's showing us how his growth arc while being in China. Okay. This wasn't his main statement, but he used this for a lot. And in with Essay Camp, we teach you how to do the core 4. And then what you do with them is like, you will have a long version. You may need a short version. You might need to use this one for supplemental essays. You might need to use this one as your personal statement. So the ones I showed you for Juliana, I gave you her main personal statement and then one supplemental. These that I am searching for Curtis that I know are in here. I don't know how to spell capoeira. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. So this is a story. He said he was into martial arts. This is just another part of who he is. That again, something. Who am I? What am I good at? What's something cool about me? And why this major? Right. So this was one of those. What am I good at? Would be this one. His something cool about me was learning. Was learning Chinese. Right. And then why this major, he talked about evolutionary biology and wanting to be a paleontologist. And his main personal statement talked about his family and his background. And I can't remember that one off the top of my head. So anyway, hopefully you've been reading this. The rhythm of the drums combined with the clapping and singing created the rhythm in the roda, a half circle formed by students and teachers with musicians at the head playing drums, tambourines, and the bow-like instrument called berimumba. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. So he just walks us through his little scene of capoeira. Very short, very simple, very easy. Oh, this is a good packet. Okay. Anyway, I'll stop there. Okay. Questions about anything that we talked about today. Today was all about standing out, coolness factor, 5 levels of leadership, and essay writing. So
I've got a question. Can you tell me again what's when you talk about the personal statement and supplemental essays?
Oh.
I understand the personal statement is what's in the Common App, correct? And then supplementals are different for different universities? Are they different lengths? Are they different?
Oh my gosh.
You said something about a long version and a short version.
Yes. Connie, where are you from?
Houston.
Houston. And what year is your child?
He is going, he'll be a senior.
Okay.
But I've got another one going into 10th grade too.
Okay. So I'm going to do something here. Okay. This is such a good question. I should have brought this up in the whole thing. So
feel free to use it.
Oh my gosh, so good. Okay. How many of you type into the chat? Or you guys, like, I'd love to see your faces. I hate talking to a blank room, truth be told. So I feel like I'm on an island by myself right now. Okay. How many of you have this same question? You're like not sure how many essays are needed. You're like, what's the big deal with the essays? So type into the chat the number 1, or just raise your hand like you want some clarity on this. Yeah.
I also have a second part of that question too.
Okay.
So my son is interested in engineering, and all anybody said is that his test grade and his test grade and his GPA matter the absolute most, getting into any kind of top engineering programs, and that engineers are very cut and dry.
Okay.
And
So, right.
So then the essay, but for me, it sounds like the essay is a great way to get to know a kid.
Well, if that were true, right, we think about any top fill in the blank, top college or top program. There are more qualified applicants than there are space for. So they all have that, right? And if I have to read another robotics or Legos essay, I might shoot myself. Okay. No, don't do that. Okay. But let me answer Connie's question first. Okay. So I'm going to first tell you, so you might be shocked, and then I'm going to show you. Okay. That's how we roll in class too. We tell the students what we're about to do. in the next lesson, and then we show them, you know, tell them, teach them, then we show them an example, and then you actually do it. So I talked about 4 essays, the core 4 that every student needs, right? Why? Why are there 4 when you only need 1 personal statement, Dr. C? Well, here in California, if you apply to the UC system, you're going to need 4 essays. You pick 4 out of the 8 prompts. So that's the first reason. But not really. Because I worked at other, Ivy League and elite places, I know that there's lots of supplemental essays. So one of these 4 typically emerge as your personal statement, your long version for the Common App. So when we say students leave with sometimes as many as 5, it's because they wrote 4 in a short version, 350 words about, and one of them became their favorite or their best. And so they need a long version for Common App, 650 word. And so they leave with 2 versions of topic number, whatever, who am I? So that's how we get to the numbers, okay? So you can leave with 3, maybe you only wrote 3, whatever. Okay. Now, again, the question is, what do I need all of the others for? Well, I'm going to show you that the supplemental essays for every college your child is Stephanie, you're keep an eye on the waiting room. For every college your child is applying to, they will have 1 to 5 or more supplemental essays that they're asking the student to write and answer on top of the personal statement. Okay, so I'm going to show you that for our gold essay campers, this is an or above. This is an exercise that we take them through. Okay, so I'm going to tell you that our students will need, depending on how many colleges they're applying to, they can need 8 essays to get through all of their applications, or they can need 48 essays. No joke. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like. So one of the exercises, this is outside of camp because we don't do this inside of camp. This happens usually in the fall with our gold and platinum and VIP. So this student, you can see can you see this okay? You can see in the black are the questions. So here's Brown, and every time it's in black, it's another question that Brown asks. Here's Harvard. Here's Harvey Mudd. Okay, here's Northwestern. Okay, so again, so this is everywhere he was applying. Okay, now, one session, this might have taken 2 sessions. So he had done the work of finding the questions, and then we had an inventory of what he had written in class in essay camp. So everything in blue he had already this essay, we call it Jolly Ball. He had this other Trees PhD essay. Everything in purple is something he didn't quite have yet, right? So we first do this piece and we go through everything he needs. And then anything in purple, some other color, we say, okay, we still need this, we still need that, we still need the other. Okay, so you can see here, right? And I don't even know that the USC stuff is even on here, but somewhere else probably we had all of there was a ton of USC things, short answers. Okay, so you can visually see what I'm showing you. It's a lot. And so for my private clients, because I don't work with the gold, I don't work with essay silver and gold, but directly, but I'm part of the teaching of the class, as you know, Marcy, I'm there usually and teaching some of the lessons. But for the students who that we have, we can show you how to do this exercise on your own for sure. But this process for my private clients, like a Jana or Alexis or Miles, they will end up having probably written 8 different essays, somewhere between 6 and 8, occasionally maybe as many as 10, but not 48, right? The purpose of the way we teach is to show you that you can recycle and repurpose. Probably one of the greatest mistakes is mismanaging time, because students don't know how else, wouldn't know how else to do this if someone didn't give them a map. Like, oh, like you don't need to write 48 essays, literally, because it dilutes the quality. Every time you write another essay, it dilutes the quality of the essay. Do you understand what I'm saying, you guys? When you're in the VIP behind the scenes, like I'm giving you like the really good stuff, but it's a lot to understand. So, yeah. So I'll give you a quick example. Jana, who I said wants to be POTUS and is at Princeton. We'd been working together since after sophomore year, after her Dream College Academy. And she applied to a lot of schools. And so at some point, like in December, she sent me like a brand new essay. And I was like, what are you doing? She's like, well, I mean, she said it in a different way, but she was basically like, I'm tired of reading my same essays. Like they don't seem interesting anymore. And I said to her, I get it, but to the person reading it, they're reading it for the first time. And we've been working on these essays since camp in the summer. They're edited, they're vetted, their quality. Like, don't reinvent the wheel right now, because you're going to basically be starting from draft one. That doesn't make sense, and it's not a good use of time. What else do we have in your repertoire that you can repurpose for this essay? Okay, so our goal is to get them to understand they need a set of 4 to start with, and then possibly 2 to 4 more, and that's it. Don't reinvent the wheel, because it will dilute the quality, which dilutes the quality of your application. Got it? You want to see one more example? Are you good? Okay, other questions? What's the difference between gold and silver?
I asked a question in the chat.
Oh.
So I know what the prompts are for the Common App, and then I understand the 4 types of questions for the essay, the ones that you mentioned, the who am I, what's cool about me, what am I good at, and why this major. Are there any other prompts that we can start at least like brainstorming in terms of like what the private colleges or Ivy League schools might expect?
Sure. So Fatima, I'm going to answer this in 2 ways. So first of all, you can Google and find them. And once you get onto Common App, you can find them inside Common App where each college lists them. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Many people who sign up for essay camp, like, what can we do before we get to essay camp? And I say, nothing. Don't do anything. Only do what we're telling you to do. Why? Because, if your child tries to do the laundry on their own, I mean, whenever you teach them, would you let them go do the laundry on their own without showing them how to do it, so they don't, get the whites all pink, right? You would first teach them how to do it correctly so they don't mess it up, right? And then you're going to watch them and you're going to show them, and you're going to watch them put in the bleach where it goes and the whites, and you're going to watch them do all the things correctly so that you will reinforce doing it correctly. Okay. So Gary Clark, the vice president at UCLA in admissions and enrollment, I interviewed him for a podcast, and he said, think less about what you think we want to hear and more about what you need to say. So Fatima, the answer that our philosophy, and you may get a different answer somewhere else, but our philosophy is use these 4 core because you decide what's important to you. Start with what I need to say first, what is most important to me, and then you make the prompts work for you, not the other way around. Okay. So that's my first answer. The second answer is probably more practical for you to, for those of you who want an answer. The supplemental essays are, gosh, I probably have the slide somewhere here close by. It's basically, oh yeah. they're in this. So I just gave you the core 4 that we use, and then here's what supplementals basically look like. Why us? Why this major? Some kind of personality cues. There's a lot of diversity questions right now, community, diversity, DEI, and then any special circumstances. So these are the buckets that the supplementals typically fall under. So that's what I mean by we do the core 4 together through camp. And then if you have extended workings with us, these are things that we'll work on together as well, the supplementals. Okay, so this is you may want to take a screenshot of this. Okay, someone asking the difference between silver, gold, and then etc. So the biggest difference between, so most of our campers that come to us, now and as they are rising seniors are typically silver and a gold or are gold. So the silver package gives you 5 days of a coach. So you come to camp, you do the 5 days, you get all the, you get your resource library because you've, combined me plus the live version. So you have all of the resources in your resource library also that you can go back to again and again. But you have a personalized coach giving you personalized feedback for 5 days. Okay. So I always say the biggest difference between silver and gold is if you want extended time working with some, either your child feels nervous or you feel nervous, family of people to go to. So with the gold package, we work with your student through the fall. Okay, so just to getting them there. What does that include physically? It includes 3 one-on-one sessions with a coach that you've been assigned to. So after camp, sometimes students are like, "Oh my God, what are we going to do when we don't have camp? Like, what am I going to do?" Well, if your kid is like that, they probably want the gold package. They'll get some FaceTime with a counselor. Usually it's going to be their coach that they had in class. They also get group coaching that I will do for all of the golds and platinums and beyond with me. And they also get to work on some of these supplemental essays. So adding to their deck of 4, they'll probably be able to add another 2 in there. So you get hands-on working, but you also get group and just the support of knowing that you can always like ping and email and ask questions. So that's the biggest difference. The platinum is if you want like more one-on-one time. So we start to get into the private consulting. So the difference in the pricing, it does run from, so when I say these numbers, it's going to be all inclusive of like everything. You don't have to pay separately for the essay camp or whatever, but it would be gold 5,000 plus 6,000. So $11,000 package is a platinum package that you would work with someone from the team. And then it goes up from there because it depends on how many spots I have available if you were wanting to work with me. Okay.
So you talked a little bit about the Dream College Academy in addition to the boot camp. Can you walk through the pricing specifically on the academy? And if I heard correctly, your recommendation was to go for the academy first and then the boot camp. Is that correct?
Let me show you. Okay. Okay. So our offer right now, so you can buy Essay Camp separately. Like you can go to the Essay Camp page and pay $28.97 for the silver or $5,000 for the gold. You could definitely just do that on its own. What the offer is here is combining them, and so it's negligible. And the reason I say this, it was the answer I gave earlier, but worth repeating. They work better when they're together, because all of the modules in Dream College Academy, like we might assign, like if you're working with us, we might say, oh, okay, you'll find that the teacher recommendations, that's going to be in your module 6 or whatever. So when we're referring to things or when we have guest speakers, every week the guest speakers are highlighting something that's in a module. Like they're focused on, oh, okay, this week we're focused on module 4 majors. This week we're focused on resume building. So our speakers are going to sort of speak to that. This week we're focused on academics. So Our speakers also go in a flow of what's in Dream College Academy. What's in Dream College Academy, if I can be so plain, are all the necessary pieces, tips, strategies, information, knowledge oh shoot. Sorry, guys. Have I been muted for a long time?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't know how that happens. So again, if I can be so plain, it's all of the information, strategies, education, tips that you need to know from a college expert starting as early as freshman year, if that's possible, right? If you're at a public school, or if you're in an archdiocese Catholic school, if you're not at a high school that you're paying north of $30,000 a year, you are likely, very likely, not getting the expert advice you need. So that's what this gives you. It's all my years of experience knowing exactly what we were giving to our private school students at Marymount, our girls, is in here. Okay, spelled out for you. Exactly what to do, exactly how to do demonstrated interest, exactly how to get your teacher to give you the right thing, in their letter, exactly what you need to be successful. So that's why we say to pair them together. I think that this weekend we're running probably the best special we've ever, I think we finally figured out that's what's going to get you success. You need both. But again, it's up to you. You can buy it separately. You can go to drcynthiacolon.com/essay camp and you'd see you can buy it separately. I don't recommend that. Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
But if you have a rising senior, is it kind of too late in the game to do the Dream College Academy? Because they'll do the essays over the summer,
Yes.
and then when are they joining the Dream College Academy to
Immediately.
formulate the list, or is that part of the action plan? Like
No.
now confused.
Immediately. So the benefit of joining Dream College Academy is that immediately all of that comes into your library. Like you can start watching videos today, okay, and start doing it, right? So you just have to, you get two users, you get two logins essentially. Today, as soon as you buy it, you're going to get this one login and it'll be probably yours because you're putting in your information, but you get two logins. So I often say to parents, look, even if your kid isn't watching or half listening or half watching, they're still absorbing. Believe you me, they're like, oh, pretend they don't need help. Hubris is a huge mistake. I can't tell you how many times I've heard the story as someone who's like, no, I got this, because they're rock stars. And I don't blame them for thinking they can do this on their own. I mean, heck, and as a parent, you're like, well, I did it on my own. What do I need this for? I just don't recommend it. If your kid has done everything right, again, whatever your dream college is, right? I had done everything right to get into USC, right? I'd done everything right. At the last minute, my mom was like, we need to go get some help. Let's drive to Mr. Vargas. He's going to tell us what to do because I don't know what to do. I didn't go to college here in the United States. I didn't go to college at all. That's my mom. So I just need help. And so just think about, even if you used it 25%, and gained a few tips. I've given you lots of tips in this just 2 days. Imagine that each one of the tips I gave you, you're going to see exactly how to do what I'm telling you to do. Here, go here. I share my screen. You're going to type in this and you're going to go here and this is what you're going to do. So it's a win-win. It's a win-win. The advantage is too great, and it's not too late. I still have students who I'm working with privately who just joined me a couple months ago. We've come up with their coolness factor, and she's working on it right now to get it done in this summer to have something to write about. So it's not too late to exponentially help maximize your choices. So. Okay, okay, Connie. So when you combine, so Connie's question is about, I was just put it to everyone, yeah, is about the financing of and scholarship dollars. So the Stephanie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think so the advantage of pairing them together also, or in essay camp, what you get in the essay camp videos, right, in addition to being live, we have module 8 and 9, which are about the Common App and the UC application, how to fill it out and like what words to use and how you maximize 150 characters, like very specific things. And the other module is on how to interview. And the bonus module in when you do essay camp is the financial aid and scholarship module. So we have a module there. So when you combine the Dream College Academy and then an upgrade of the live version, you'll get all of that. Am I correct, Stephanie? Did I get that right?
Yes. Yes.
And just in general, just if you just had Dream College Academy, our guests, like we rotate all the topics, and we have our go-to financial aid and scholarship people that we bring on as well. So you'll get some there. But honestly, Connie, it's never been our complete niche. Like that's not my expertise, but the students, as you can see on all of the, what I call the baseball cards, they're little cards with their photo and where they got in and stuff. At the bottom of them, you've noticed it shows how much merit money they earned. And most of that
I
is,
saw that.
yeah, most of that is not anything that we teach other than we teach really good essays. And that's what they use for when they're applying. So.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Just one more thing, I'm sorry. So on the screen that you had with the pricing,
Uh-huh.
those numbers are, like the 3 numbers at the bottom are applicable only if you purchase the DCA package, correct? So
Correct.
the additional, 1897, if you're in Dream College Academy, if you're just gonna do the boot camp, then it's the number that's on the website.
Correct. 2897 or 5,000 just for the silver and the gold. Exactly. So these
Okay.
are ways that we bundle, right? So, but I'm going to give you the link for if anyone is interested in the private coaching, that price is to work with me over time. It's a lot of things, but the VIP is all inclusive. My private clients don't pay extra, like they don't buy that. So if that's something that you're seriously considering, then you should hold that and have a conversation with me. Okay, so does that make sense? So this is the basic price, $19.97, which you get a $700 coupon code today. And then you can bundle it with any of these. Now, Stephanie, I don't think we talked about, so just if you can say quickly, like if they wanted the gold, is there an option there or on the way you set it up, or how does that work?
So actually, I didn't set up an upgrade for the gold because I wasn't sure if we were gonna just
Yeah.
check on the hours, and check on the hours that come with gold, or but I certainly can create it'll be easier, it'll be more straightforward and easier for everybody else if I create that upgrade within the page, instead of making it complicated. So I'll create that as well, so that you have the option if you would like to upgrade to the gold package, which has the extended coaching through the fall, and then of course the silver package.
Okay, so I just gave you the link if you are wanting to inquire about private coaching. So that's there. It's by application only, by application and invitation only because obviously I can't have 100 students. But Tatiana's last question probably I'll answer is, with Dream College Academy, will students have a coach to review their essay? So the answer to that is no. By upgrading to the live version of Essay Camp, that's where you get your personalized coach. Again, silver package, you get a coach for 5 days, and you leave with 3 to 5 essays done, or ready to be edited. And we finish it on the back end. And what else was I going to say? There's no homework. in essay camp. Marcy, I can't remember how Rachel did it, but pretty much, I mean, there's usually one kid per summer that we get really nervous about on like Wednesday or Thursday. They've not done a whole lot of writing and we have to call home. But basically, look, I know students, teenagers during the summer are not going to go home and like, or go back and write anymore. So everything is done live and in person. The writing is done in class. There's no homework for the students. Okay. All right. Okay. Type into the chat what you are going to do in the next 24 hours. What did you learn and what are you going to take action on? Because listen, the sooner you get started, the better. The students who have, have tip control. Dream College Academy Cohort 1 was right about now, summer of 2020. That was the first time we ran it. And those students are now, you'll meet Malik tomorrow. He was in Cohort 1. Jonna, you saw, she's at Princeton. Cosette, you met yesterday. She was also in Cohort 1. So lots of goodness happens the sooner you start. So I'm super excited for all of you. Tell me what you're about to do. What did you learn today? And what are you about to do in the next 24 hours? Yeah. Okay. So here, let me I'll type into the chat the link for the essay camp so that you can see the dates. Yes. Oh, Natasha, yes. Time for child number 2. If we're interested, please email about pricing and packages so we can sign up. Kyle, is there what are you still unclear about? So we can just answer that right now.
Nope, we're not really. I mean, we just want to take a look at the packages and I think we liked what we saw in terms of the bundling. So just email us with whatever links and we'll move from there.
Okay, great. So if you're still on, I'm just showing you what the essay camp page looks like. Again, from my perspective, I've told you exactly what the advantages are by bundling it, but this is the link. This is what you'll see. And then you'll see the dates.
And I'll also add that Sibel Howell was one of the parents whose daughter you have there is a good friend of mine and recommended you highly. So we're excited and you come highly recommended from a good friend.
Fantastic. Oh my gosh, Stephanie, can you make sure that Daryl removes like immediately June 17th and 24th and adds, so right now the next 3 are July 22nd, July 29th, and July, and maybe I just didn't refresh. Maybe I've had this open for too long.
August 5th.
August 5th. So just know that when all the dates were not there because we posted our June dates but when you go to actually sign up, you'll see the dates here.
Great.
So
and our daughter is currently going into her senior year, so I'm going into her junior year, so we'll probably want to talk about doing the boot camp. I'm sorry, doing the Dream College Academy first and the boot camp. But again, we can have that one-to-one conversation with you or Stephanie.
Okay,
yeah,
I would
also put my email into the chat if anybody wants to email me directly with questions about packages and all of that. So be sure to write that down. Dr. Clone, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, trying to just answer any questions. So for those of you who are rising sophomores or rising juniors, my biggest advice is to bundle with the action plan, the personalized action plan. So if you want someone to help your child imagine what a coolness project would be, an impact project, and you're looking for that, I think that's one of the best products that we have because we really do spend 90 minutes to up to 2 hours with you as a family, one-on-one, in a Zoom call, but it's one-on-one, and we take notes and then we deliver back to you somewhere between like a 6 to 8 or 9 page report. What are the strengths? What are the areas of that could be improved? What are ways to improve that? And what are some starter ideas for college, for a coolness project or an impact project? And what are some, so we give you that. So if you're not thinking like, if private coaching is, you know, not something that you're interested in, or thinking that you want to spend that kind of budget, but you want to piecemeal things and still get bang for your buck. If you're a rising sophomore or rising junior, I would pair it with the action plan. That would be my best advice. Okay. All right, guys, I have to go watch my niece play softball, so I'm going to head out now. So good to see you all here. Thanks for being rock stars. Marcy, Natasha, I know your child
Thank
number
you.
2. I'll see you guys soon. Okay. Mimi, one day. We've got plenty of New Yorkers. That wouldn't be a bad idea to do a New York essay camp. All right. All right. Bye for now, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.